If you're over 60, there's a good chance no one ever told you this. Some cheeses could be protecting your brain, bones, and gut, while others may be quietly harming them. The truth is, not all cheese is created equal, especially as you age. According to recent findings published in the European Journal of Nutrition, choosing the right type of cheese can reduce inflammation, improve vascular health, and even support cognitive function. But the wrong types, they may be slowly contributing to high blood pressure, artery hardening, and declining immunity without you ever realizing it. That's why in today's video, we're uncovering 3 cheeses every senior should be eating, not just for taste, but for strength, clarity, and vitality. These are time-tested, naturally made cheeses that are easier on your gut, lower in sodium, and rich in nutrients your aging body needs now more than ever. So before you take your next bite, you'll want to know which cheeses are quietly working for you and which ones might be working against you. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 3 types of cheese that people over 60 should completely avoid. 1. Processed cheese spreads, the most dangerous of all. It's soft, it's creamy, it spreads effortlessly across toast, crackers, and even memories from childhood. For many, processed cheese spreads, the kind you find in tubs, jars, or neatly wrapped triangles, are a nostalgic comfort. But for those of us over 60, what looks like an innocent indulgence is actually a nutritional landmine, quietly chipping away at our health with every bite. Processed cheese spreads are not real cheese in any meaningful sense. They are industrial creations made by combining low-grade cheese remnants with chemical emulsifiers, artificial colorings, preservatives, and dangerously high levels of sodium and saturated fats. What's worse, they're often marketed as convenient, even friendly, easy to spread, kid-approved. But the truth is far more sinister. As we age, our bodies lose the resilience they once had. Kidneys don't filter as efficiently, arteries lose their elasticity, and our metabolism slows. That's why the additives in these cheese spreads are particularly toxic for older adults. Sodium phosphate, one of the common preservatives, doesn't just help stabilize texture. It quietly puts stress on your kidneys every single time you eat it. Over time, this added burden can accelerate kidney damage, a risk that's well documented in studies from the National Kidney Foundation. And then there's the fat, not just the usual saturated kind, but sometimes even partially hydrogenated oils, trans fats, which have been banned in many countries for good reason. Trans fats raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, lower your good cholesterol, HDL, and create a perfect storm for heart disease, stroke, and systemic inflammation. The result is a faster deterioration of cognitive function, joint health, and circulation, all under the comforting guise of a soft, spreadable cheese. The price you pay is invisible at first. It doesn't come in the form of sharp pain or dramatic symptoms. Instead, it shows up quietly. Rising blood pressure, unexplained fatigue, slower memory recall, and lab results that begin to hint at trouble, elevated creatinine, high triglycerides, or calcium deficiencies. These are the tolls collected by something that felt harmless but wasn't. You don't just sacrifice nutrition when you eat processed cheese spreads. You surrender your long-term vitality one quiet moment at a time. So yes, the convenience is tempting. The flavor might even remind you of younger days. But your body is older now, wiser, and it deserves better. It deserves food that supports your heart, nourishes your brain, and strengthens your bones, not something that slowly undermines them with every serving. But the real danger: processed cheese spreads combine all the worst traits of modern food engineering into one product: salt, chemicals, fat, and zero accountability. It's not just cheese, it's a Trojan horse designed for shelf life, not your life. And if you think that's unsettling, wait until you hear about the next cheese on the list. It looks gourmet, smells expensive, and yet carries hidden risks that can strike without warning. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's move on to point number 2. 2. Blue cheese. Gourmet taste, hidden danger. Blue cheese. Just hearing the name might bring to mind elegant cheese boards, fine wine, or a luxurious wedge crumbled over a salad. It's often seen as refined, an indulgence for those with a sophisticated palate. But for those over 60, blue cheese hides a silent threat that has nothing to do with taste and everything to do with how your body reacts as it ages. The mold that gives blue cheese its signature blue veins is not just for show, it's penicillium, a living fungus that produces compounds like tyramine and histamine. While younger people may metabolize these with ease, the aging body often struggles. As we get older, the enzymes responsible for breaking down these substances slow dramatically. That means tyramine and histamine can linger in your system, triggering sudden blood pressure spikes, heart palpitations, and in many cases, severe migraines or dizziness. Some seniors even end up in the ER, unaware that a small serving of cheese was the quiet catalyst. But the risks go further because blue cheese is typically aged and often made with raw or unpasteurized milk. It's more susceptible to Listeria contamination, a bacterial infection that can be devastating, even fatal, for older adults with weakened immune systems. Listeria doesn't come with a flashing warning. It starts subtly: a low-grade fever, fatigue, perhaps an upset stomach. But in vulnerable seniors, it can quickly escalate to sepsis, meningitis, or worse. And the sodium? Blue cheese is a salt bomb, often containing over 400 milligrams of sodium per ounce, far exceeding what a heart-conscious diet should allow. Pair that with the high saturated fat content found in creamier varieties, and you've got a recipe for hardened arteries and increased stroke risk, ironically from something that's been dressed up as gourmet. The price you pay for that rich, tangy flavor is steep: unstable blood pressure, inflammatory overload, hidden infections, and potential neurological consequences. It may seem like a small indulgence, but for aging bodies, it can have large and lasting consequences. So, before you sprinkle that blue crumble over your next salad, pause and remember that not everything aged with care is good for the aged. Sometimes sophistication comes at a steep cost. And if you thought mold was the enemy, wait until you discover the smooth, creamy cheese that's quietly sabotaging your metabolism every single morning. 3. Cream cheese, the soft enemy you never saw coming. Cream cheese doesn't look threatening. It sits there in your fridge, cool and unassuming, ready to be spread on your morning bagel or stirred into a warm dish. It's smooth, comforting, and familiar, part of a routine you've known for years. And maybe that's what makes it so dangerous. Because unlike other cheeses with pungent smells or bold appearances, cream cheese hides its harm beneath softness and simplicity. For people over 60, this kind of food, low in nutrition, high in fat, and deceptively indulgent, can quietly undermine your health day by day. Cream cheese contains little to no meaningful protein, yet it's packed with saturated fat, which poses a serious concern when metabolism slows and the body struggles to process excess energy. This imbalance contributes directly to visceral fat accumulation, particularly around the abdomen, a known precursor to insulin resistance, heart disease, and inflammatory conditions that already become more common as we age. But fat isn't the only issue. Cream cheese often carries added sugars, especially in flavored varieties like honey, strawberry, or walnut. These sugars may seem harmless in small amounts, but for seniors, they spike insulin levels, disrupt blood sugar balance, and feed systemic inflammation, leading to increased fatigue, brain fog, and difficulty managing weight. In this stage of life, every bite matters more than ever. When you choose foods that are calorie dense but nutrient poor, your body pays the price in missed opportunity for healing, support, and vitality. And then there's Listeria, the quiet bacterial threat. Because of its soft texture and moisture content, cream cheese, especially if left out for even short periods, can become a breeding ground for harmful bacteria. Seniors, especially those with weakened immune systems, are particularly vulnerable to Listeria infections. This isn't just a stomach bug. Listeria can lead to meningitis, blood infections, or even death in older adults. The risk doesn't come with a loud warning. It comes in subtle waves: a lingering headache, mild confusion, a sense of not feeling quite right. Often it's too late by the time we connect the dots. The price you pay for that creamy texture and nostalgic comfort, it's steep. It may be elevated cholesterol, creeping blood sugar, stubborn belly fat, or worse, an invisible infection that can change your life in a matter of hours. Cream cheese isn't inherently evil, but it certainly isn't a friend to the aging body. And what feels like a harmless daily habit may be working against your energy, your organs, and your longevity. So the next time you reach for that silken spread, ask yourself, is the softness on your plate worth the silent damage underneath? Because while cream cheese whispers, the next cheese shouts, loud in color, bold in name, and wrapped in foil. And yet, it might just be the most misleading food in your entire fridge. Stay with me. What you're about to learn could make you see your next snack in a whole new light. 3 types of cheese people over 60 should eat. 1. Goat cheese, a gentle superfood for the aging body. There's something quietly dignified about goat cheese. Unlike the loud processed cheeses vying for your attention in the grocery aisle, goat cheese is humble, natural, and yet profoundly powerful. For those over 60, it is not just a tasty addition to a meal. It's a therapeutic ally for a body that is changing, a metabolism that is slowing, and a digestive system that is no longer as forgiving as it once was. Goat cheese is one of the most easily digestible cheeses you can eat. It contains less lactose and a different form of casein than cow's milk cheese, which makes it gentler on the stomach, a blessing for older adults who often deal with bloating, discomfort, or sensitivities they didn't have in earlier years. The benefits go much deeper than digestion. The fats in goat cheese are predominantly short and medium chain fatty acids, the kind your liver can process efficiently for energy instead of storing as belly fat. This is especially helpful for seniors facing slower metabolic function and the creeping weight gain that often accompanies aging. What you eat now either supports or strains your system, and goat cheese is one of the few foods that lightens the load. Beyond that, it's a quiet hero for the immune system and brain health. Rich in zinc, selenium, and probiotics, goat cheese helps replenish the microbiome, a key defender against inflammation, infection, and even depression in older adults. These nutrients work in the background, supporting tissue repair, thyroid function, and neurological clarity. It even contains a special form of vitamin A and omega-3s that nurture memory and cognitive function, offering subtle protection against age-related mental decline. The beauty of goat cheese is not only in what it gives, but in what it leaves out. No artificial colors, no stabilizers, no preservatives, just clean, natural nourishment that feels as good in your body as it tastes on your tongue. Whether it's crumbled on roasted vegetables, spread on whole grain toast, or blended into a light omelet, it adds substance without the heaviness. The older we get, the more we realize that food isn't just about flavor, it's about how it makes you feel afterward. Goat cheese feels like wellness wrapped in simplicity. But if you think goat cheese is impressive, wait until you meet the holy cheese that quietly guards your heart, bones, and immune system with every bite. 2. Swiss cheese, a subtle shield for the aging heart and mind. There's a quiet strength in Swiss cheese. Unlike bold cheeses that overpower your plate, Swiss sits calmly in the background, mild in taste, gentle on the body, and remarkably powerful in ways most people overlook. For those in their 60s and beyond, it offers something far more valuable than flavor. It offers protection. Swiss cheese, with its iconic holes and nutty undertone, is one of the few cheeses that seem almost designed for aging bodies. One of its most overlooked gifts is its exceptionally low sodium content, around 54 milligrams per ounce. At a time in life when high blood pressure becomes a looming concern and medications often add to the strain, this matters deeply. With Swiss, you get the comfort of cheese without the cost of skyrocketing salt levels. Even more impressive is its impact on bone and heart health. Swiss cheese is rich in vitamin K2, a nutrient many seniors don't get enough of, yet one that plays a vital role in keeping calcium where it belongs, in the bones, not in the arteries. This helps prevent arterial calcification, a silent but dangerous contributor to heart disease and strokes. In a way, Swiss cheese does more than feed you. It redirects the very minerals that can either harm or heal you, depending on where they go. And it doesn't stop there. With high levels of calcium, protein, and vitamin B12, Swiss supports muscle maintenance, nerve function, and cognitive clarity, all things that become more precious with age. Its natural aging process reduces lactose to almost nothing, making it easier to digest for seniors who've developed sensitivities they never had before. The bacterial cultures used in traditional Swiss cheese, especially Propionibacterium freudenreichii, produce unique anti-inflammatory compounds during fermentation. These support immune strength and reduce inflammation, offering subtle but meaningful protection against conditions like arthritis and neurodegeneration. It's a cheese that speaks softly but works hard, like a faithful guardian behind the scenes. And unlike processed cheeses, there are no artificial ingredients or gimmicks here, just pure, aged nourishment that supports the very systems time tends to weaken. But if Swiss cheese is the wise guardian, then what comes next is the spirited companion, bright, crumbly, and unexpectedly powerful in supporting your bones, gut, and brain in one delicious bite. 3. Feta cheese. Crumbled simplicity with lasting strength. Feta cheese may not demand attention on a crowded dinner table, but for those over 60, this humble, crumbly cheese holds extraordinary value. Its tangy bite, soft texture, and ancient roots speak to something deeper, a food that's been nourishing generations without pretension or excess. For seniors navigating the complexities of aging, feta offers a rare combination: flavor, function, and gentleness. Traditionally made from sheep's milk or a mix of sheep and goat milk, feta naturally contains less lactose and a more digestible protein structure than cow's milk cheeses. For the aging gut, which often becomes less tolerant with time, this makes a quiet but important difference. Instead of triggering bloating or digestive distress, feta tends to move through the body with ease, a gracefulness we come to value more with age. But feta's real gift lies in what it delivers in small, powerful doses. Rich in calcium, protein, and vitamin B12, it supports bone strength, nerve function, and muscle preservation, three areas where the body tends to lose ground in the later decades of life. These nutrients aren't just helpful, they're essential, especially for seniors working to remain mobile, balanced, and mentally sharp. Perhaps most remarkable is feta's contribution to gut health. Because it's a brined fermented cheese, it's naturally full of probiotics, beneficial bacteria that help restore and maintain the diversity of the microbiome. With aging, especially if medications are involved, the gut often loses its balance. That imbalance can ripple outward, affecting everything from digestion and immune strength to mood and inflammation. A modest sprinkle of feta can support that balance, acting like a small daily dose of restoration. And though it has a salty flavor, the portion size required to enjoy it is minimal. Just a few crumbles can elevate a dish and deliver nutritional benefits without overwhelming the body with sodium. For those especially salt sensitive, even a quick rinse can reduce sodium content significantly. Feta is proof that nourishment doesn't need to be flashy. It simply needs to be intentional, rooted in history, and kind to the body, whether added to a warm salad, roasted vegetables, or a morning omelet. It brings both flavor and function to the table. And while these three cheeses can help protect your health as you age, knowing which ones to avoid is just as vital, because not every cheese offers a path to strength. Some, in fact, quietly steal it away. More than taste. Choosing cheese as a path to longevity and grace. Aging is not simply about getting older. It's about refining our choices, slowing down with wisdom, and living more intentionally than ever before. And that includes what we put on our plate. Cheese, for many, has always been a symbol of comfort. A warm grilled sandwich, a spread on a cracker, a sprinkle over pasta, small pleasures we've grown to cherish. But comfort, especially in our later years, must go hand in hand with care. At this stage in life, your body is asking for different things. Your heart asks for less salt. Your joints ask for less inflammation. Your brain asks for clarity. Your bones ask for strength. And most importantly, your time asks to be spent in health, not in recovery. What may have seemed harmless in our 30s or 40s, a heavily processed cheese spread, a moldy gourmet indulgence, a creamy delight full of hidden fats, now carries consequences that weigh far more than the momentary taste. When you reach your 60s, 70s, or beyond, each meal becomes more than fuel. It becomes medicine, or poison. The difference is subtle, often hidden behind shiny packaging, nostalgic flavors, and a culture that still glorifies convenience over integrity. But you have the power to choose differently. You can honor your body not by restricting joy, but by refining it, by choosing food that is simple, clean, nourishing, and alive. Avoiding the wrong cheeses isn't about fear. It's about respect. It's about recognizing the quiet ways food can uplift or erode us, especially when our bodies are more vulnerable. It's choosing to invest in well-being, in staying sharp, mobile, and connected for as long as possible. And that's not just for you. It's for the people who love you, count on you, and still look to you for wisdom, laughter, and guidance. It's never too late to shift, to trade harmful habits for healing ones, to replace processed spreads with a clean sliver of goat cheese, to exchange salt-packed moldy bites for a fresh wedge of mozzarella. These are small acts, but they're also powerful ones. Because at this stage of life, every decision matters a little more. Let your meals reflect the care you now know you deserve. Let food become not just a source of taste, but of strength, memory, clarity, and grace. And as we've only touched the surface, remember, it's not just what to avoid, but what to embrace. Because the journey of aging well isn't about less. It's about choosing better. Now, are you ready to discover the cheeses that can actually protect your heart, nourish your mind, and strengthen your body? Let's continue. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.